Hi, welcome everybody. It's Thursday, September 9th. My name is Ross Benjamin. And on Thursdays, every Thursday during the NFL season, I'm going to be joined by Mr. Doug Upstone. He also joins me for an early look at the college football lines, and we give out a couple picks on Monday. Got a good response this week, Doug, and really looking forward to the NFL season, buddy.
Oh my goodness, yes, we are ready to go. Football is here, and everybody's just chomping at the bit to get it going. And that includes Mr. Ross Benjamin and myself in
Yes.
exactly the same position. So yeah, here we go, another season.
Yeah.
And we got fans in the stands.
Yes.
All over the place
Beside
now.
a little bit of
Nice.
emotion, It's a great. I mean, if you watched any of the college football games last week, like I know you did, just seeing the emotion in the crowd, you almost forgot what it was like after that absence for a year, And I can only imagine the NFL how it's going to be this week too. So looking forward to that. And for us in the sports betting industry, and I think Doug will agree with this statement, it's like Christmas time in September. Prior to the NFL season starting. So again, Doug, here's the thing I want to ask you, and I have my own point of view on this, and I'd like to hear yours. And I'm sure the listeners out there and viewers, which there are many, and I appreciate you, all of you who tune in to listen to our podcast. How do you approach week one of the NFL season? When I mean that, Doug, we don't have a lot to work with. There's wholesale changes with some teams via free agency or the draft or trades. And then other teams have a lot of continuity. Like, for example, the Buffalo Bills have a lot of continuity, not only on their roster, but in terms of their coaching staff as well. So, but anyway, enough of what I think. What do you think, buddy?
Well, the first thing on the bat, I did this several years ago, Ross. No matter what, I limit myself to 3 plays in week one. If I have 5, I'm taking the best 3. Okay. That's the way it's going to be, because I know, and it's just time, year after year after year, whatever you think, okay, doesn't always turn out that way. So I'd rather be conservative, okay, and take my best shot with my best 3, as opposed to when you have, as you say, more data, then you can build something else. And, you end up with more plays, and, you have some more reasons to do that. The other thing, Ross, that I do every year is that of those plays, anything that is 7 or higher on a favorite, I just cross it off. Okay. Or I should say 7.5 or higher. And don't even look at the game unless maybe the underdog. I wouldn't even consider the favorite. I don't care what it is. Like as we're doing this video on Thursday, Tampa Bay now is up to 8.5 or 9. I couldn't even give the game a look. I'm not saying Tampa Bay's not going to win, and they might win by 20 points, Ross. I just can't take it, and I would never recommend anybody else to take it, because that is such a big number on the first week of the season, where yes, we have preseason football, but there's so many unknowns, and they just start to develop. And it's the NFL, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
I mean, every Sunday, how many games, no matter what the week is, come down to one possession under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, I just go super conservative myself, and again, I avoid big numbers on favorites for sure. What about you, Ross?
Well, when I look at that Thursday night matchup between Tampa Bay and Dallas, I know that I have a very good betting angle right off the bat, because ever since they initiated these Thursday night openers, Doug, the majority of the times, there have been some exceptions. It's the Super Bowl champion hosting the game, and the majority of the time they're a favorite. I think I remember one time where that wasn't the case. It's when the year after the Giants beat New England in the Super Bowl, and they were an underdog at home in the first game against San Francisco. However, home favorites, the won the Super Bowl the year before, since this whole concept has gone 10-1-4 against the spread. Now, you made a good point. I mean, very seldom, if any time, has a home favorite in this situation been of 7 or more. Usually they try to make it as competitive a game as possible. And again, I mean, I think the TV ratings had a lot to inserting Dallas into the number one game here. Now, that's not to say that Dallas is going to be a bad team. Dak Prescott comes back, a lot of talent, as we know, on the offensive side of the ball, Doug. But, I just question their defense. I mean, their defense was terrible a season ago. And, Doug, I just don't see where they improved from my eye test during the preseason or on paper.
Russ, I completely agree with you on your point. I mean, if you break the matchup down and look at it that way, it's just, like I said, for me, it's more of a personal thing. And just that
I agree.
I've been burned enough, okay, not in this specific matchup. I'm just talking about the points. And as we both know, and we both do this all the time, you don't always bet teams, you often bet numbers. Okay.
Yes.
And with that being the case, for me, this is a number I'm not comfortable with in taking. I mean, if you ask me, okay, Doug, who's going to cover tonight? Okay. Or for the Thursday night game, not tonight, but for this Thursday night game, I would have to agree. Tampa Bay is the obvious choice. However, okay, but it's a choice. It's not my play. So that's, and again, anybody else that wants to be on Tampa, you know what? I hope you win. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, for me, I'm not comfortable in doing it. And that's why I'm staying away.
And I mean, you made a good point. And the one key word to take from that is when it's obvious. And folks, it's never as easy as it looks when it comes to sports betting. So not to say that Tampa won't cover, but sometimes these no-brainer plays are not always the smartest way to go. In any event, Doug, we got a couple free picks from me and you this week in the NFL Week 1 season openers. And I'm going to start with you. Tell me what you like.
Well, I just spent all this time talking about not backing teams that are big favorites. And so one of the things I'm going to do is trot out the San Francisco and Detroit game. Now, in this one, San Francisco is a 7.5-point road favorite. This team, is now the point spread is 100% legitimate. Okay, this team was in the Super Bowl 20 months ago, and to my way of thinking, they should have won that game. They fell apart. They got worn out in the fourth quarter to Kansas City. That's how it goes. Last year, a lot of injuries, both sides of the ball. Not that Garoppolo is great, but he did get hurt their team. Okay. Everybody's back to start the season, essentially. Might be a little bit weaker, in a couple areas, but still, I think everybody considers them a division contender. Then you have Detroit. Okay. Even by Detroit standards, this isn't good. The season win total, depending on the sports book you go to, is 4.5 or 5. Okay. And now we're playing 17 games, not 16. I just thought I'd throw that in as well. And so with that being the case, new coach, okay, coming in, Jared Goff's now the quarterback. Okay. I don't know. There's just a lot there for me to digest. So what's the play for me for the free play? First half line, Ross. I'm looking at San Francisco with the ability to run the ball, okay, against Detroit's defense. I think their defense can certainly curtail what the Lions can do, especially in a new offense. And, nothing against Goff, but just in a new offense. So that being the case, I'll say for the free play to take San Francisco minus the 4.5 on the first half line.
Okay, so there you have it. San Francisco 49ers minus 4.5 over the Detroit Lions. And that's a first half bet, folks. So there you go, from Doug Upstone, a guy who I know wins. And here's what I have, Doug. I'm going to I've been eyeing this game down for the last 3 weeks and scratching my head. We have a team like Jacksonville playing on the road at Houston, two teams that don't figure to be very good, especially Houston. However, you got a team in Jacksonville that went 4-12 a season ago. They have a rookie starting quarterback. They have a brand new coaching staff that, I don't know, Urban Meyer is a proven winner on the college level, but we don't know how he's going to do in the NFL, how that's going to translate to the pros. In any event, they're a road favorite at Houston in game 1 of the season. So I went into my trusted 4D handicapping software, which I'm a data-driven guy like Doug. We're both analytical. Sometimes we look at it from different angles, but at the end of the day, we're out to beat a number, as Doug says. You want to talk about players when you're talking about point spreads? Start betting on fantasy football, okay? We're out to beat a number. So, Doug, since 1982, there's only been 4 instances where an away favorite in game one won 4 or less games the season before. And in those 4 instances, the away favorite who won 4 or less the year before went 4-0 straight up in ATS. And they won by over 12 points a game. And all 4 of those games, ironically, had an exact number of -3 for the favorite. And what's today's favorite? -3. So when it doesn't make sense like this, and when it looks, this doesn't look too, it looks too good to be true to take the home underdog. And another thing, Doug, Tyrod Taylor is the starter for the Houston Texans. I had my fill of him in Buffalo, and look, good kid, okay? He doesn't make mistakes. That's the good part. The bad part, he very seldom takes his chances down the field vertically. He's the millennial Captain Checkdown, okay? I just don't see how any team right now in the NFL, especially one that lacks the overall talent like Houston does, will succeed with Tyrod Taylor under center. Until Deshaun Watson comes back, I can't take this team seriously. Second, Doug, is this Houston franchise is a mess. It's an absolute mess. Look who they hired as a head coach. I mean, it makes no sense at all. David Culley. What has he done? He's been an unsuccessful quarterback coach for the last 10 years in the NFL. So again, make a long story short, I know I went on a little bit, but I like the Jacksonville Jaguars -3 over Houston. What's your thoughts, Doug?
First of all, Ross, I love your passion on this one. Okay.
Yeah.
You got the information. Okay. On that. I mean, I agree with you. It's as I forget what video we did, but you had a hold your nose one a while back.
and this is another one. This definitely qualifies, brother.
That's what I'm thinking, and it is my thought on this game too. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those that, Houston, like I said, it's a dumpster fire there right now. They're not doing anything right. And instead of actually trying to really move on, from Deshaun Watson, they're trying to hold everybody up, without a gun, but essentially by asking for basically like 8 players, or 6 draft choices, and I forget how many were number ones. I mean, Deshaun Watson is no question, he's a probably top 7 quarterback in the NFL, and he would make a lot of teams better. But, that many players, even for that, I mean, Tom Brady in his prime is not worth 7 players. Okay. So unless Mike Ditka happens to be the coach, that's another story for those that remember that one. But anyways, so yes, I agree with you, Ross, 100%. I think Jacksonville is the right play on this one.
Yeah, this is the same franchise. They want 6 to 8 players for Deshaun Watson, but they gave up DeAndre Hopkins for absolutely nothing. I mean, come on. It's just a scramble what that franchise is going through. And I feel bad for the fans in Texans, but Texas or Houston, I should say. But I don't feel bad for you this week because I'm going against you. And one other thing too, Doug, if I can, I'm going to throw in a teaser here. Okay, because another betting angle that came up on my 4D handicapping software, anytime you have a game one away favorite that won 5 games or fewer the year before, now the other one was 4 games or fewer, which was 4-0 straight up in ATS to the away favorite, all 9 games when teams won 5 or less and are an away favorite in game one have gone under the total, and the average scores in those 9 games, 30.1 points per game scored. So I'm going to also throw in, and I'm not a big teaser guy, but I throw it in for myself weekly. I'll throw one in, and I don't give it to my clients, and I don't put it up for sale, but I'm telling you, I'm betting on this one. I'm going to use a 7-point teaser here and take Jacksonville plus the 4, and Jacksonville under 53.5 for a teaser. All right. So reviewing, Doug, you have tell the folks once again.
Sure. San Francisco -4.5 at halftime.
Okay.
Or 4 halftime.
Over the Detroit Lions. Yes.
Over the Detroit Lions. That's correct.
I have Jacksonville plus the 3 as a straight bet on the point spread. I also like a small 2-team teaser it's a 7-point teaser. You're going to pay a little extra juice, but you get off. To me, there's no sense betting a 6-point teaser on this because you're going to go from -3 to +3. There's no value there. I want to go over the key number of 3 to get to 4. And I'm going to use a 7-point teaser, Jacksonville +4, and the game to go under 53.5. So there you have it, folks. Now, before we go, Doug, DocSports.com is a great site, and Doug is one of the key handicappers there. He was on the top of the list for a long time in terms of baseball handicapping, and last year he's coming off a terrific college football season. He did very well for a portion of the NFL season as well. But I'm not going to steal your thunder. You fill the folks in on how you did, what you got going on, and where they can find you.
Sure. Ross, last year, as I mentioned in some of the previous videos, basically hit almost 60% in weeks 2 to 16. The opening week, which Ross and I just talked about, wasn't as kind to me last year. It was 1 and 2. So, but it was really nice football season. And and to be honest with you, and I think a lot of people will acknowledge this. I don't recall exactly how you did, Ross, but I do know a lot of people had a rough football season last year. Okay. Yeah. With no crowds, there was just interruptions and, things going on. So I was extremely happy with that. Now we're going to get back to normal. And so I expect to do quite well. And, this weekend, how Docs does things a little bit different, but I got a 7-play package, okay, that's being released on this Thursday, so it's available all the way through the start of the first game, and there'll be also, or you can get the 3 NFL games, and notice I did say 3 again, NFL games. So full package ready to go, and that's at Doug Upstone at Doc Sports. You can just see this mug with that picture there, and hey,
he's got a haircut though. I almost didn't notice him. He cut his hair, and I said he lost 20. You look like you lost 20 pounds, Doug.
I think handsome as ever. Everybody can see this now.
Yeah, handsome as ever. Long hair, short hair, it doesn't matter. You can find me at rbwins.com, folks. Documented at Sports Capping. Month of September in the NFL, 99-48 since 2010. I can't, like Doug often says, I can't explain it, but it is what it is. I've had a lot of success. And yes, I am coming off a tough NFL season last year. And I'm transparent as well as Doug is. We tell you when we win. We also tell you when we're struggling a little bit. And I tell you when I'm struggling because I know it's just a matter of time before I catch fire. So I plan on having a big NFL season this year, big college football season, off to a 4-2 start in college football. And you could find me at rbwins.com. You could also call me direct, 781-571-0299. Accept all major credit cards. I do not hire employ, I should say, any salespeople. So you'll talk to me and me only. And folks, if you call me, with all due respect intended, I'm a very busy guy during football season. I'm not looking for a friend. I'm not looking to go over games with you. You want one of my subscription packages? You want me to design something tailored to specifically for your needs? Have your credit card be ready to go. Hope that doesn't sound mean, but it's business. Anyway, Doug, until the next time, for Doug Upstone and Ross Benjamin, good luck and God bless, folks.